Today we're at the home of Emory Pritchett in Finksburg, Maryland. It's November the 7th in 2013. And Mr. Pritchett is a veteran of World War II, and we're here to kind of talk about his experiences and everything leading up to World War II and then during the war. You said originally that you were from Georgia?
Toccoa,
Georgia?
yeah.
And you joined the
Northeast.
Navy? Northeast in Georgia?
Yeah, to Atlanta.
And you joined the Navy from that location?
I drafted to go into the Army.
Oh, okay.
And my cousin and I was there, and the guy down there, I said, look at that, it's a Navy guy. I said, let's join the Navy. I said, Daddy and all of them was in the Army. I ain't getting in the Army. He said, no. And the guy says, you want to get in the Navy? I said, yeah. He said, come over here. I got in.
That's how you signed
The
up. The
first thing he said, go behind that guy right over there. And I thought, what in the world is he doing? And he said, you call these guys out, names and everything, and we're going to write them down.
Oh, okay.
And we did that.
So they put you to work right away?
Huh?
They put you to work right away?
Oh, Lord.
Calling names out, huh?
Then we went down to Little Creek, Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And everything, Navy base down there. And we was down there for about a month and a half, I think, or 2 months maybe. And we started training, running them little boats. And I was running, boy, I was loving that. I get to ride in that thing, drive it.
Right, uh-huh.
And everything, and we'd go up to the ship, the guys would jump off, then the guys would get back on, and we'd go out and go around circling and everything like that.
So this was practicing amphibious
Right,
operations?
amphibious, was right.
At Little
And
Creek.
everything. We went down to Florida, Fort Pierce. The lieutenant come up and he says, Emory, you got in your package, you got a little tent. You got to sleep on this bunk. You take that tent and open it up, because if you don't, the mosquitoes will eat you up.
Yeah, in Florida especially, that's right, yeah.
And I mean, wasn't nobody on there. It's just the people that was running out the road and going out there and going swimming. And we started putting up tents. And I was like, I'll never forget that. I thought, my Lord.
And you said you got your draft notice. Was that in 1943 that you got your draft notice?
Yeah,
42. So you did join up in 1943?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when we was working. And then we got the boats.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to get on that side and drive it. Nothing. VP boat.
And that was at Little Creek, and then you said Fort Pierce down in Florida?
Yeah.
As well?
And we running out there a while and everything. Then they took us out the first day. Took us out there. And we'd be like, he said, jump overboard. I said, man, can you see the land? And he said, no, you ain't gonna see it for a while. And I'm looking. He said, swim this way. I think a jellyfish as big as this table hit me. I'm going like this, and I seen that thing, it run up under my arm. I let out one of them Georgia squalls. that guy says, come here. They grabbed me, put me up there. They used a couple cans of that sprayed on your arm.
Oh, for the burn from the jellyfish and everything?
Man.
So when did you actually deploy to England? When did you deploy to England?
We trained out there and got our boats. Then we went to London, England. I was on a Meteor Liberty ship.
Right, uh-huh.
That boat was up here. The ship is this way, going this way. My boat was right here.
Oh, okay.
I had
on the deck of the ship.
Yeah,
okay.
Deck of the ship, and they put it right up here at the bridge underneath. I could watch it and everything. And I had 4 of those plywood boats, 2 on each side and everything. And we could signal from the next ship over. We got the flags and was doing the signal and
Right.
everything and talking to them and everything. And they had, we were going in and then we'd go out and they'd say, overboard, swim.
Oh wow. So when you went to England, I imagine that was a lot of training and preparation
Well,
leading
we went,
up to
went up there to London.
D-Day. Do you know
and
what date that was?
For Cornwall, England.
Uh-huh. Do you know what date that was that you were in?
It's 45, 46 or something another, 7 or something another.
Right.
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I know one thing. It was for the channel. We went in with our boats, and I had a load of chains with a big round ball on it, and I was giving them out to the guys, and they'd take and hook it on their boat and drive a peg down through there and everything, and get that thing hooked on there and everything, and we'd leave our boats and come back on the base.
Oh, okay.
And everything.
Right. Now, when you did you do amphibious training on the beaches in England
Oh,
prior
Lord,
to
yeah.
D-Day?
Yeah.
Those were those in Scotland that they did those, or was it on the English coast?
Huh?
Was that the English coast that you did that
Yeah,
training, or
It
was
has
it
the
in,
English coast and
okay.
everything up there. We could go out. We'd go out in the boats and go over there. They'd take us over there, and we'd drop the ramps, and there'd be 4 or 5 guys run off of the ramp. Then they'd come back and get on. We'd take them back
right?
and everything like that. Practice and everything.
Right.
And then we went down to Fort Pierce, Florida.
Uh-huh.
Swimming again.
They like to have the Navy guys learn how to swim and everything.
Yeah.
Huh? Right.
Had us there at Fort Pierce and everything. It was a nice place, and they had a thing as wide as this kitchen, and they had a rope, and they had tied up. You grab that rope, and when you swing it, you gotta jump off on the bank. If you don't, you hit that water.
Right. Yeah.
Boy, I jumped off of that thing. Another thing. One time I did jump, and I hit the water. Lieutenant hollered, you got your dope.
He thought it was
No.
funny. So when you actually were prepping for the invasion of France, did your boats go out into the channel empty, and then you linked up with a ship in the channel?
Yeah.
Or did you have troops when you left the coast of England and went all the way, loaded all the way across the channel?
Well, yeah, the Meteor Heart, Liberty ship,
Right.
and everything. I had 2 of those V-piece boats,
Right.
and my LCM was this way, and they had theirs that way.
Right. Okay.
And we had a whole bunch of soldiers on it.
Uh-huh. That was on the Liberty ship leaving the United
Right.
States and going over to
And we was leaving New York
England. Right.
and everything up there.
Okay.
And we come over to London. We got over there, man, and we unloaded and everything, and we started just practicing a little bit in that channel out there.
Right. Yeah.
But we didn't do much practicing because we was going to go down to Fort Cornwall, England,
Uh-huh.
and everything. And that's where it was channel back up in there
Right.
and everything. And I had one of these things that mine looked like a little torpedo boat, PT boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had 3 of them and everything. Then the others had the ramps up and everything on them.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't fly,
Right.
and it was.
So did you actually go into Normandy on June 6th on D-Day itself? You were there on that that day and everything.
I was the first one to hit the beach. And
Right.
everybody's they were far from him behind me, and I'm hollering, hit the beach, drop the ramp, let the guys off, go back to ship and get another load and
Right,
come back.
right, yeah.
And we got. It didn't take long for them to get used to doing it And boy, and I was running back and forth and everything.
Do you remember how many trips you actually made that day with bringing soldiers to the beach?
We unloaded that Amelia Earhart Liberty ship. It took us all day and until about 10 o'clock at night.
Wow. Okay.
And everything to unload that thing.
Yeah, because I think the initial boats hit the beach about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think, if I remember correctly.
They little boats was taking these guys in.
Yeah. So you made several trips.
The Liberty ship couldn't get in that close.
Right.
Because it would get stuck and everything else.
Right.
And we'd take it into the beach and drop them off and everything.
So then, after D-Day, what duties did you have as being an LCM?
Well, I had MCM. I was emptying out. Me and Pitts and was my motor mech. And Pitts was from Ohio, and he had another engineer guy. He was a clock man working, and Tiny Roth. And the other thing is that we called him because he was about 6 foot.
That was the crew on the MCM.
Yeah, it was,
right, okay.
We had these guys, all of us, and everything, and we'd have to go out and swim.
Right.
And then they got our boats and everything. We started practicing and everything.
Right.
And then if you couldn't swim, they'd put you in a pool. And everything. And that pool was far from here to the Murray Road out there.
Right.
That was a big pool, man.
Pool,
You jump in like this. Here was a pool. You jump in here, swim over, go back again.
The whole perimeter, huh?
Around.
They were going to make sure that you could know how to swim and everything.
Yeah, get in there.
So on subsequent days after the Normandy invasion, did you continue to move troops?
We did all of this before we went to Normandy.
Yeah, but what I was talking about with Normandy, did you continue to bring troops in on?
Oh yeah, we unloaded Amelia Earhart.
And day 3 and day 4.
Yeah,
and everything. So you kept bringing
Amelia Earhart and everything.
Right.
And I had all plywood boats, and I had these 4 big ones. Mm-hmm. And Tiny, I hollered for him to take that boat over, and we went to the others. Another guy from Ohio, he was the engineer on Tiny's boat and everything. And that guy, I'm telling you, all the other boats and mates had them LCMs. We'd unload them ships, boy, in no time and everything. We'd get 50-something guys on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sure they were interested in getting off the boat, and you were interested in getting off the shore and getting back out to where it was safe and everything.
And then we go back, get another load, and come back.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing. And oh no, it was an awful mess and everything else. And then I had I had 2 VP boats. I called them torpedo boat and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Wasn't no little torpedo, it was just high speed, like a high speed boat and everything. The boatswain mate on there, on the 4th day, it was the boatswain mate. Damn. And he got sick and everything. So the lieutenant come over alongside of my boat. He says, put your coxswain on there, and you're in charge, and you just keep an eye on him because you're going to be running up and down. He said, this is your boat. I said, boy, that thing will really move. So the lieutenant on there, captain on there, he wanted to see how close we could get to the beach. So we go down there and everything, and he said, can you hit that beach with this boat and everything? It didn't have a little bitty ramp to get out and everything. And I said, yeah, I can get it and everything. We went up on the beach and I let that little door open and everything. And he got out and he walking on the sand. He come back and he said, let's go. And I said, where are we going? He said, hit that thing bell 4 times. Man, that PT boat was coming out of the water.
It was really fast, huh?
Oh
Yeah.
boy, it was really moving.
So when you say VP, what is it? What is that? What does that designation mean? Do you know what that
VP boat.
Right.
It was like a torpedo boat.
Right. Okay.
Another thing.
Uh-huh.
Another thing. And we got them LCMs, big ones like mine there.
Yeah.
And we got them.
Uh-huh.
And we trained there in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Right.
Nothing.
And then, so after Normandy, what did you do? That was in June.
Yeah.
So later on, in like September and October of '44, what were you doing at that point?
We had to go and unload some of the Liberty ships that come in, and then they couldn't get in too close and everything, and we'd unload them.
So you were bringing supplies in then?
Yeah, bringing in
from
on
those
the
ships.
ground,
Uh-huh.
bringing up there and drop them off. Go back to the ship and get them in.
Did you bring vehicles in?
Yeah.
Or vehicles, ammunition, food?
Them
just
10 10-wheeler trucks.
Oh,
I
really?
take one.
Wow. And that came off the Liberty ship, and they put that in your
Right.
in your boat, and then you took that.
I
and
take
you
it up there and drop a
Sure.
ramp, and the guy goes off.
drive it.
Sometimes the VP, I mean the Liberty, not the Liberty ship. We had another ship could come in and open up his ramp
Off. Right. Yeah. in the
and
front.
unload his whole load. That was like a ST.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the heck the name of it. It's a bigger boat
Yes.
and
uh-huh.
everything.
Right.
And on there. Had all the soldiers on it and everything on there. And we guide them up and they go up on the beach. If they get stuck, we just hook on and pull them back up.
Pull them back out. And everything,
And,
yeah. I guess they depend on the tide. If the tide came in and everything, they'd be able to get
Lord,
it out as well.
yeah.
And everything. So.
Tide come in there, man.
Right.
it come in there about as high as you and I sitting
Oh, really? Yeah.
in the room.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And,
So you did that all the way through, and then where were you when they signed the armistice in May of 1945? What were you doing at that point? Were you still along the coast there, running
we
the
come
boats,
back.
or?
We come back. We stayed there in Fort Pierce, and then we went to England and everything. And we got Fort Cornwall
Right.
was that little ship. We didn't have no anchor things, and we was getting these here big balls and tying the chains on them, and throw them overboard and hook our boats up to it.
That would anchor him when you got there.
And my LCM boat.
Right.
Then I had one of these here speed boats
Right.
and everything. And the little captain says, "Come on, won't you go with me? Can you run this?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's like a PT boat and everything." I'd been on one for 2 weeks. One of the VP boats, like a torpedo boat,
Right.
nothing like that. And them guys showing me how that thing run. And boy, I loved that thing. Woo.
That was like it being on the lakes back in Georgia with a speedboat, huh?
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you, you can move with that boat.
So do you know, when did you come back to the States? Was it after the war had ended that you
Yeah.
came back to the United States?
Yeah, we come back.
Right. And then what did you do after that? Is that how you ended up here in Carroll County, or how did you end up here in Carroll County?
Well, I went back to Virginia and everything. Went down back there, and we came back up to Bainbridge
Okay.
and everything.
That's here in Maryland.
And everything, and we got up there, and then we got discharged.
So you were in about 3 years altogether, I guess, 3 or 4 years?
I guess so.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, from the time I went over there in '43 and everything else or something or another, and we come back in '45 or something.
Okay.
Come back to the States.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And so then you were in Bainbridge, and then how did you end up over here in Carroll County?
I went down from Bainbridge, I went down to Little Creek.
Okay.
Then we got to come back to Bainbridge and everything up here in Maryland
Yeah.
and everything. Then they said, "We're going to go give you 30 days."
Okay. So you got some leave time in. I mean,
And that went home to see my father and mother and everything
Right.
like that. And then went to on the train. I rode a train. I don't never get on a train. Nothing. And we went to San Mateo, California.
Wow.
He says, Pritchett said, we're going to go to Japan
Oh, wow.
for occupation.
Yeah, because the war, well, okay.
I said, war was going on a little bit. They was about ready to get up. And I said, man, I've been over here all this time and everything else. He said, they had a big Liberty ship out there. And he said, can you get them guys off of there? I said, yeah, we got them big LCM boats and we got VP boats, carry 25 guys. I can carry 50, 55 packed in it, in that boat and everything. And boy, them guys just standing there like that, and the damn rifle sticking up. And I'd push a button from inside in that tower house. I had control. My motorbike was down the engine. I had a gunner's mate, and my signalman, I got a hold of him, and that was the best thing I had. Mm-hmm. He was a little. He come up to my shoulder, and we was getting ready to get all hooked up and everything, and he said, your name's Georgie? I said, no, my name's Emory Pritchett, but I come from Georgia. And he said, okay, Georgia, I'll catch you.
So that was your nickname then, huh?
And he was my signalman boat.
Right.
His mother and father, the Germans got him and his mother and father. And when I figured it out, we was in New York getting ready to come down to Little Creek, Virginia, and Florida. His mother and father grabbed him, and I said, Pee-wee, I said, what are you, little boy? He said, yeah, I was only a little boy, Georgia, and everything. He said, I got a lot of money. I said, holy mackerel. I ain't gonna say what he had.
He inherited it from his parents, I guess.
He had everything, and he said, they want me to get on that boat. I said, you want to get on that boat? He said, no, I won't stay with you, Georgia, just stay with you. And he stayed with me all the time from day one until we got back to the States and everything. Got back to New York. We could go on thing and all that. Right. Then after 30-something days, we were going, and he wanted to go back to Japan or somewhere or another. I don't know where he went. Right. And I said to the lieutenant, we was out in San Mateo, California.
Right.
And I said, man, I only had 30 days in the state, and I'm going to Japan. He said, what's your name? I said, it's Emory Pritchett from Toccoa, Georgia. He says, go over and look out the window between them Venetian blinds and count the Jeeps out there. I thought, what the heck is he talking about? He said, go over and open up the lead. I'm opening them up and everything, and I see 2 or 3 guys are getting in them Jeeps and everything. He said, how many did you see? I said, I counted 5, and these guys are getting in a Jeep and everything and all. And he says, where they going? He dropped that daggone book on the floor, and I climbed the wall. He says, I was getting off of the Venetian blind. He said, Pritchett said, you ain't going. You're shot. Your nerves are shot.
Oh, okay.
He said, you climbing the wall and jumping over there, you ain't going over. Well, that's when we stayed in San Diego, California, and they give us our uniforms give us to go on leave. We could go down there to the bars, have a drink or two. I didn't drink that much because I didn't like, I was used to drinking moonshine. And I drank one of them, glass, and I didn't drink all that bourbon and everything like that. And he says, "You going to the hospital?" I said, "What for?" He said, "You're going to try to get your nerves calmed down." I was in there for 3 weeks in San Mateo Hospital. This lady, she was a little bit hefty and about 6 foot tall. And she was the sweetest thing you ever seen. So
She was the nurse there for you in the
oh
hospital.
boy, we went in there and we had our bags and I'm leading and she says, "Emory?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Put your bag right over here. I want you to call these guys off and tell them, go to the bunk and stand at the foot of it." I was in San Mateo, California.
Mm-hmm.
So I was standing there and listening to everything. And they lined them all up. This lady here, she was a hefty lady, and her brother worked in Washington and everything. And I said, "Your brother worked in Washington?" She said, "Yeah," and everything. She said, "Now, you tell these guys, get their names straight and everything, and we're going to let them go out in the street, go to the beer joint, movies, anywhere to go. But you got so much time to go there. If you go out there at 2 o'clock, you got to be back 4:30, 4 o'clock or something or other, because you got to go in for mess, get your food and everything and all that." We was in San Diego.
So then, were you actually discharged from the Navy in San Diego?
Yeah, that's when we started, and we said, I said, "What are we going to do?" He said, "You ain't going nowhere. These other guys," I said, "Well, them guys are going to Japan." And everything. He said, "Emory, you ain't going. Your nerves is shot."
Right.
And everything. Well, there was 6 of us. We stayed on there and everything else. I better not tell you this and everything else. I lay on my side. Anybody that didn't touch me and wake me up.
They had to be careful when they were waking you up and everything.
Then everything.
So from San Diego then, how did you make your way back to the East Coast?
Huh?
How did you get back to the East Coast?
We got on a train.
Oh, okay. So you rode
I'll
the train
never
back?
get on a train again.
That was a long ride all the way across the United
San
States.
Mateo, and that went over there and got on that train, and on the train, I was on this end, up on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
That long car. We was all coming home. We was getting discharged.
Right. Yeah. Everybody must have been pretty excited.
That train, the second day, it took a long time to come from San Diego to Maryland on the train then.
Right.
The second day, we was sitting there, and I said to the conductor, I said, "What the heck is wrong with that train?" He said, "You got a flat spot on your wheel."
Oh, goodness.
Right over our
Right where you were, huh? So you had a pretty rough ride all the way back, huh?
Oh my Lord! Where'd you get that thing?
So anyway,
we got in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
We could change trains.
Right.
For Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And I said to Stokes and them guys, I said, "Y'all going home?" He said, "Yeah, we're going home." I said, "Well, God bless you and see you later," and everything. And I went on there. I hit that thing, and the train is just like, man, smooth.
As smooth as anything, huh?
Got into Maryland because I had a friend of mine was in the Navy, and everything. And he had a sister, and we got together and everything. And he said, "You want to go up, my sister?" I said, "Yeah, we'll go. I'll go up." Went up there and everything. Little Creek, Virginia. We went up there and everything, and she was real nice and everything. And he says he was getting in the Navy, her brother. I said, "Boy, you got a long ride on the train." They laughing and everything.
So when you
But my wife and everything is, I got out of Virginia and everything. I had to go back one time, San Mateo, and they said, "You can discharge, you fine." But the lady there in that place, she says, "You guys strip down." You don't know what to say when you tell her she's telling you to strip down, and she's a woman standing there looking at you and checking you out,
right.
boy. And everything. We all got to laughing. She says, "Keep your shorts on." And everything. We kept them on and everything. Went in there, San Diego, and then we got on the train and everything. And that's when that wheel come into Bainbridge and everything. Then I met my girl, wife, and everything up there. Well, I had my brother, her brother, and I was telling him about it and everything, all that. And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You mind if I date your sister?" He said, "No," and everything.
And that was in Bainbridge?
Yeah,
In Bainbridge and everything?
yeah, Bainbridge up there. When I got discharged and everything, we got married
Okay.
and everything.
And then settled right here in Maryland.
And we didn't have no boys, no kids. She got sick
Oh, okay.
and she passed away.
Mm,
And
right.
her brother, man, I was really hurt, didn't know what to do or nothing like that. So he's telling me. And then I got down to Little Creek, back in Baltimore here, and everything, and went down to the base and everything. And I met this guy there and everything. And her brother says, "Come on, go up to the house with me." Well, he had a sister and two brothers and everything. Had he had two sisters and two brothers and everything with him. And her and I got married and everything. We lived up in Little Creek and everything. Then we went back up to Bainbridge and everything else. And we didn't have no kids and nothing like that.
Well, that's about all the time that we have today. We certainly appreciate your sitting down and talking with us and giving us a little bit of your history and everything.
I hope you don't put this on TV.
Well, we'll put it in our archives and everything, and if people want to be able to watch it, they'll be able to. So thanks a lot, Mr. Pritchett. We appreciate your
You're
time.
welcome. Thank you.
You.